It begins with a whisper. The locals call it the Lady's Lament, a faint, mournful cry that echoes through the ancient halls of a 17th-century palace nestled deep in the European countryside. They say this palace inspired the tale of Cinderella, a place of opulence, romance, and something darker. Our story takes us to the Grand Ballroom, a masterpiece of gilded ceilings and shimmering chandeliers. But it's not the beauty that draws visitors here. It's the ghostly tale of a woman seen fleeing down the marble staircase, her face frozen in terror. They say she appears on the stroke of midnight, her silk gown tattered, her bare feet bloody from running. Her footsteps echo like thunder in the silent palace, and just as she reaches the last step, she vanishes. But who is she, and why does she run? To understand, we must go back to the 1600s, when the palace was alive with music and laughter. Its owner, Count Victor Leclerc, was known for his extravagant parties, but his wife, Isabel, was the true star of the court, a beauty whose grace and charm enchanted everyone she met. Yet behind the glittering facade, Isabel lived a life of quiet misery. The Count was a jealous and controlling man, rumored to dabble in dark practices to maintain his wealth and power. One fateful night, Isabel was seen dancing with a mysterious man at a masquerade ball. He was tall, his mask a striking shade of black and gold. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Who was this stranger who dared to court the Count's wife? The answer came in the early hours, long after the guests had left. Servants awoke to the sound of screams. Isabel was gone, her bedroom in disarray. Some said she had fled with her mysterious suitor. Others believed the Count had discovered their affair and silenced her forever. The truth was never uncovered, but the ballroom, it remembers. Fast forward to today. Paranormal investigators and curious tourists flock to the palace, each hoping to catch a glimpse of the fleeing woman. Witnesses describe an icy chill that fills the air just before she appears. Cameras malfunction, lights flicker, and a heavy, oppressive silence settles over the room. But the most chilling detail? Some claim to hear a man's voice whispering her name, Isabel, just before the vision vanishes. One investigator, a skeptic named Elena, decided to spend the night in the ballroom. Armed with cameras and recording devices, she set up camp at the base of the staircase. Hours passed with nothing but the sound of the wind rattling the windows. Then, at exactly midnight, the temperature plummeted. The chandelier above began to sway, though there was no draft. And then she saw her, Isabel, or what was left of her. Her eyes wide with terror, her hands clutching the shredded remains of her gown. She stumbled down the stairs as if being chased, her gaze darting over her shoulder. Elena froze, unable to move as Isabel reached the final step. The apparition stopped, turned to her, and whispered a single word: "Run." Before Elena could react, a shadow darker than the night itself appeared at the top of the staircase. It loomed, tall and menacing, its presence so heavy it felt like the air was being sucked from the room. Elena ran. When she reviewed her footage the next day, she found something even more disturbing. The shadow had followed her, its shape flickering in every reflective surface as she fled the palace. Who or what haunts the ballroom? Is it the spirit of Isabel, trapped in an endless loop of fear? Or is it something far more sinister, tied to the Count's mysterious practices? The palace remains a place of beauty, its grandeur masking the darkness that lingers within. Visitors still report the fleeting image of a woman running for her life, her silent scream echoing through the centuries. And if you ever visit, remember this: when the clock strikes midnight, stay away from the grand staircase. You might just find yourself face to face with the shadow that chases Isabel. And this time, it might not let you escape.